So not much to say. I assume that team 3 are on standby.
Yeah.
So once you're ready, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much, IODG. Once again, we want to apologize to everyone for not showing up last week. We thank you once again for joining in this or for this session. So many of us, or rather all of us in this group we don't have experience coaching. And so at some point it was a little challenging understanding what team coaching was and then understanding the competency itself. So what we decided to do was to have a background study, like go and find out what team coaching is. We studied about what team coaching is. And then from that knowledge, we're able to understand better what the competency the assignment that we're given is, and then we're able to relate with it better in order to communicate better. So in this session, we'll be giving a brief overview of team coaching, what it is in relation to individual coaching. Then we'll break down the actual competency we're assigned to present on. Then we'll give a brief comparison of that competency, relating it to individual coaching and a team coaching. I'm not going to be taking it alone. Other members of my team will be joining on along the line of this presentation. Okay, so team coaching, from our knowledge sharing and knowledge gathering, is like having, say, a football team with different people, different strengths, playing different angles on a pitch, and then having a coach trying to harness the potentials each of them possess in that team to be able to achieve the goals of the team. So for us, and many of us on this call are HR people, so we're in a very good position to stand as team coaches because we relate with different teams in our organizations, and helping them to achieve the objectives of their teams and overall objectives of the organizations we belong to. So according to Peter Hawkins, team coaching is enabling a team to function at more than the sum of its parts. So we're looking at the team not as individuals, but the whole team is the client, unlike when you're having like an individual client coaching. You do this by clarifying the mission of the team and improving its external and internal relationships. So it's different from coaching team leaders on how to lead their teams or coaching individuals in a group setting. So team coaching generally involves first contracting the team coach by someone who's normally known as the sponsor. So if we're an external team coach, right, for an organization, probably the HR person in that organization, or the whoever is in charge, maybe the MD or whoever is in charge, contracts the external coach to come in, to help its teams achieve its objective. But for us, most times for us who are internal coaches, most times the sponsor is usually the management of the organization, because you have been commissioned to perform your function as a coach for all the teams, all the units in your organization. So, and during the contracting stage, there's clarity. You're being told the objectives of the team, the objectives of the organization, the objectives of the coaching session, what you want to achieve, all of that. So it's like signing up a contract with the coach and telling him, this is what I want you to do, this is what we want to achieve, this is what I feel we have problems with in our organization or in our team. Investigating or discovery is like a fact-finding process, or we could say it's like a SWOT analysis. So the coach is finding out what the strengths of the team is, what the weaknesses are, probably threats, but basically he's kind of finding out, having a clearer understanding of what the team actually comprises of, what the challenges are, what their problems are. Sometimes like you're told, probably the sponsor might have told the coach, okay, this is what I think the problem is. But when he or she comes in, he finds out that, okay, there might still be one or two other things that this team is facing that wasn't actually highlighted by its sponsor. Then the designing alliance phase would entail creating a collective mindset between the team. So we all agree that it's like an agreement stage where the team knows, okay, this is what we're here for. We're supposed to be working together to achieve this. We're working in line or together with the coach. Everybody formed an alliance towards the success of the coaching intervention. The execution phase is like the core of the coaching intervention, where the coach is he or she's using different intervention methods to help to coach the team, to help them derive or help them attain their potentials, to help them improve their probably cohesion, whatever problem they're going through. So it's like the core execution, the coaching execution stage, and then the review stage. The review stage and the execution stage is like it's reoccurring. So if probably at the say it's a 1 month or a 2 months coaching session or coaching plan, and at the end of the 1 month, the coach has told the team, this is what I want you to have achieved in 1 month. After that 1 month, he's like doing an appraisal to find out if they have actually achieved that or if there needs to be more work. So he's like just like a check performance in our own language, the performance management thing. So at a certain point, after executing, he reviews and then the final review, the coach finds out if there's a need to extend, if the intervention has worked, or if there needs to be something else that needs to be done. So that's what team coaching in general involves. So the competency 3, which we were assigned to discuss on, is that the coach establishes and maintains agreement. So according to the definition, the coach partners with the client and relevant stakeholders to create clear agreements about the coaching relationship, the process, the plans, and goals. He or she establishes agreements for the overall coaching engagement, as well as those for each coaching session. So at this point, Benedicta will be breaking down the competency and shedding light on this area of the competency. Benedicta.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Attractor, for the very precise introduction. My name is Benedicta Yerite, and I will be explaining what team coaching is and is not, including how it differs from other team development modalities. All right. So, team coaching is not individual or one-on-one coaching. So for individual coaching, the coaching is for that particular person, the coachee, known as the coachee. So the coachee has personally engaged a coach, to make it happen. They have gone on their own, they have seen a need, a reason, a void, and they have contracted the coach personally. So they are more like having a one-on-one interface. Whereas in team coaching, the reason for coaching may not be so clear to the individuals. So there has to be a process, which Attractor has spoken about, a process with the team to uncover and find an aligning ground where now each person, each member of the team can now later on answer for themselves what is in it for the team, so that they as a team can now see the vision behind getting a goal, behind they can now see the vision that the coach is trying to, take them to, in quotes. So individual coaching may focus on setting goals of future vision, while team coaching focuses on the current state. So maybe the organization um, may be concerned that they're not getting the desired results, and some things need fixing. There should be a need, and the organization may go and contract the services of a coach who now comes in and leads the team to fix it in order to achieve the desired results. Now, so the second question is, how is team coaching different from the different team development modalities? So going by the competencies, the other team development modalities are team building, team training, team consultancy, team mentoring, and team facilitation. So it's important to note that team coaching is longer term for sustainable impact. A team coach may use any of the other team development modalities when he or she feels it's necessary to. And whereas the other team developments are not faced with team dynamics or conflict resolution, team coaching, sorry, I beg your pardon, please. The power just went where I am. Okay, so team coaching is directly interfaced with conflict resolution and team dynamics, whereas the other the other modalities are not. And the, this different developments, they are usually directional. They give instructions, tells you what to do and what not to do. But team coaching, however, seeks to understand the team members, their personalities and their dynamics, and to know how they can work together. So the team coach wants to know this about the people and trying to educate the other people about these same personalities so that they can work together as a team. So going further to define the other modalities, the team development modalities, team building is the coming together of team members with their individual skills and uniting them to achieve a goal. So this involves two or more aspects, but I'll just talk about two. So we recruit people from the same organizations or the same or one organization, different teams, and engage them in activities to achieve a result. So you're bringing in two different kinds of people who may not have worked together or may have worked together but in different capacities. And you want to encourage them to, have like a bond, a certain understanding. And usually this is done by activities. So we have examples like bricolage game, scavenger, head hunts. The main idea here is to create bonding through play, create understanding through play. So the team training, the different types of training, we have the induction, we have the onboarding, we have the job training, promotion training, refresher process. So team training is basically training of teams to increase procedural knowledge, proficiency in doing a job, um, proficiency in functioning as part of a team, and overall team performance. So basically, this is just the training which you give to your team members, which you give to a team to increase their proficiency, their skills, or their knowledge. Now, team mentoring. Here, it involves having multiple mentees as a team and one or more mentors working together towards employee developing together. So I give an example. Maybe the CEO wants to groom the next CEO in 10. Sorry, can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes, please go on.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So the CEO may want to groom the next CEO in 10, 15 years and identifies a set of people, who he or she thinks or feels that may be fit to become the CEO. And so decides to mentor them through a series of mentoring. Now, on team facilitation, okay, so it's a process of using a facilitator. Facilitator is a person to help the team achieve a specific outcome. So let me just go a bit ambitious here. We want to plan or design the Olympics, an Olympics committee. And so I have called Attractor, I've called Ayodeji. Let's come together, we get a facilitator, and we brainstorm on what we think we should do here. So a team facilitator is therefore an engine to re-energize the group, to trigger fresh ideas, fresh thinking, inject new ideas into the group. Okay, so that is the end of our presentation. Over to the next person, please.
Johnson will be taking. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening once again, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
okay.
We can. Yes, we can.
Thank you, Attractor, for issuing a disclaimer at the beginning of the of this session. You know, because the team will have to pardon any assertion that is not that may not be robust enough, you know, saying that they are professional coaches and they are listening to rookies. So, and thank you also, Benedicta, for taking us through the stages and the phases involved in this competency 3. So my job is quite simple and straightforward, is to actually discuss or explain rather, the core, that is the thrust of this competency, which is partners with all relevant parties, including the team leader, team members, stakeholders, and any co-coaches to collaboratively create clear agreements about the coaching relationship, processes, plans, development modalities, and goals. So I will start by saying that this particular aspect is talking about creating an alignment, you know, between all the relevant stakeholders. And stakeholders here includes the team leaders, the team members, other stakeholders that are beyond the team members, team leaders, etc. And also, if it is a team coaching that requires more than one coach, the presiding coach will also have to have same alignment. They have to be in alliance with the co-coaches who might be specialists in the subsections of the subject area. So, and the essence of this alignment, the essence of this partnership is to collectively come together to create a very clear and transparent agreement, you know, and this, the content of this agreement are basically, the first one is to define roles, tasks, responsibilities, and also some other inputs that may come in the course of the coaching. So that's what is called the coaching relationship. So what are the roles of individuals within this particular in the course of the session? How do we relate to one another? What are the things that are supposed to be our various tasks? And in doing them, how do we go about them? So that's the first thing. And the second one is the processes. You know, it has to be clearly stated. What are the processes? I see these processes as the phases involved. So if you are talking about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, what is going to be what is this processes like? It has to be well articulated in this agreement, and the involvement of people at different phases of these processes has to also be clearly stated in the agreement. Then the next one is the plans. What is the general plan, of this particular time that we're going to spend together? How do we plan it such a way that we are going to have maximum benefit for the overall objective, which is to resolve the exact problem of the team, and which, of course, for me, is the objectives, which have to be stated clearly, and unambiguously. So the third one, I mean, within the context of plans, we should also have the time frame for all the tasks, as well as the specifics of this of the individual roles, and how they interrelate, interconnect, and then the next one would now be the development modalities. I see this as for me, I will refer to it as measurement and monitoring, to know how we are growing towards the attainment of the objectives earlier defined. So this has to also be discussed. What are we going to use to measure ourselves? How do we measure the growth? What are the modalities we need to put in place to know? And there's what we call success performance indicator. So SPIs have to also be detailed. Then the last one is the goals. What do we want to achieve with what do we want to achieve with this whole process? Why are we here? Why do we really need to go through all of this for this particular time that has been defined in this agreement? The end product has to be also be clearly defined and stated with precision. So that's the bit I am to cover in this particular presentation. And I think when the time comes for question and answer, I'll be able to elaborate on some of the points that may not be clear enough at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnson.
All right.
Ed, well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, the third part is the coach partners with the team leader to determine how ownership of the coaching process will be shared among the coach, the leader, and the team. So it's basically straightforward. You're at the beginning of the coaching intervention when the agreements are being signed. The team leader knows that okay, like let's give an example. The coach has communicated, just as Benedicta had said, he had communicated that, okay, this is not a training session. This is not a team bonding session. This is a coaching session. He breaks it down. This is what it will entail. So he's not telling them, I will not be I wouldn't I won't be sitting down with you individually to, write down things for you and all that. Now your team lead will have to take ownership of this area. Then for you, who are the team members, you're taking ownership of execution, so the activities or the assignments are all shared. So right from the beginning of the process, they know that, okay, this is what I'm taking ownership of. For the team members, I'm supposed to take ownership of the duties that have been assigned to me. For the team leader, these are supposed to take ownership of supervising that, supervising the team and ensuring that they do what they're supposed to do. And the coach pretty oversees and kind of guides the leader and the team members. So generally, at the beginning, those agreements are set originally so that as a coaching process goes on, there's no conflict or nobody thinking that, okay, this job was not meant for me, it was meant for the other person. So everything is shared and everybody knows what they are meant to do in order to achieve the success of the coaching exercise and the objectives that have been set out for the team. Okay, so we would be integrating the competency with this competency under the team coaching intervention with the individual coaching intervention, because we realize that they're all integrated. It's integrated basically. So Yele would just run through the same competency under an individual coaching intervention so that we understand also what a coach is supposed to do, or the competencies a coach is supposed to have in relation to this one when he's dealing with an individual client. So Yele.
Okay, thank you, Attractor. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Good evening.
My team members have done a good job taking us through the competence area 3. Like Attractor said, the team competencies are basically an extension of the core coaching competencies. And so would really be talking about the third competence area, which says establishes and maintains agreement. The other two that have been discussed in the previous sessions are demonstrate ethical practice and also embodies a coaching mindset. So let me just get right into it. As we all know, the ICF competencies are basically the foundation and they're pertinent to the coaching practice, right? The team coaching sessions are much more complicated than the one-on-one coaching sessions. I think Benedita stressed that point earlier. And this is just basically because you have different input from different team members. And so a team coach really needs to do a lot to ensure that the team sessions are engaging and all the parties are fully involved. The complexity of the team coaching engagement really comes to fore on this competence area 3 because it talks about the establishment and the maintenance of agreements. For a lot of the team members, engaging with a coach, right, or engaging with the team doing a team coaching session may be a new thing to them. And for those that are even experienced, it still doesn't mean that the team coach should not engage them. So it is important that a team coach ensures that all the members of the team are aware of what team coaching is and is not. And that's what this first point speaks to. They should describe the process to the client. Wherever you see client on the slide, please note I'm referring to the team, right? Because the team itself is a single unit, right? So wherever you see client, please note that I'm referring to the team. So it is important that the team coach ensures that all the members of the team are aware of what team coaching is and what it is not. It's also important that we set a really clear agreement for the team and the coaching engagement sessions. There's also need for clarity around what the team should expect from the session and what other team development modalities really are. The next point says that it's important to reach an agreement about what is and what is not appropriate in the relationship. What is being offered, right? What's the responsibility of the client and the relevant stakeholders? Also, it's important to reach an agreement about the guidelines and specific parameters of the coaching relationship, such as logistics, fee, scheduling, duration, confidentiality, and inclusion of others. It is important for a team coach to ensure that the goals are clearly spelled out, right? What are you trying to achieve? Involve the relevant parties, the relevant stakeholders. We already mentioned that in team coaching engagement, there are often sponsors and other stakeholders who need to be considered, right? Sponsors, the stakeholders include the co-coach, the sponsors, the team lead, the team itself, These are the stakeholders. So there's need for a lot of inclusion. The agreement should also include confidentiality within the team coaching sessions and with individuals in the team. So again, you're giving them the multi-layers and the complexities which really play out, right, in the session. The team coach should also partner with the team leader to ensure that he or she takes ownership of the coaching process. We also put here that the team coach needs to partner with the client and relevant stakeholders to establish an overall coaching plan, right? The coaching plan and the goals really need to be spelled out. And by all means, if there's need to do a sort of compatibility assessment, right? That's what this last point speaks to, right? You need to determine whether there's client-coach compatibility. And once you do that as a professional, once you do that, you know whether you need to involve other people, right? Whether you need to involve even your co-coach, because the work of your co-coach is basically to observe, and also the co-coach doesn't really do a lot of processing as quickly as you would do as a team coach, right? So if you need to engage your co-coach, right, in the different sessions of the coaching engagement, by all means do that. If you also need to engage other experts, right, if you see that there's no compatibility, it's also really allowed. And then the next point here says partners with the client to identify or confirm what they want to accomplish in the session. I think that goes without saying. You also need to define what the client believes they need to address, right? What does the client believe they need to address? And how do you resolve what they need to address? How do you accomplish it, right? Also partner with the client to define or reconfirm measures of success for what the client wants to accomplish. And you keep hearing us say partner, because it's really important. The partnership with your client during a one-on-one session can really be tedious, not talk of, having a whole team of people. That can really be tedious. And that's why it's important that you partner with your clients, and everything you're doing, you carry the stakeholders along, right? The next point here says partners with the client to manage the time and focus of the session. It is important you manage the time. There should be no time overruns. And that's not to say that you should be rigid during the session, but what we're just saying is ensure you keep the time so that the participants are able to really enjoy all the benefits of the session. And if there has to be time overruns, it has to be on a rare case scenarios. The next point is continuous coaching in the direction of the client's desired outcome, unless the client indicates otherwise, right? Ensure that you follow the plan, as we said earlier. What's the plan? What's the coaching plan? What's the outcome that you want from the session? Ensure you stick to that. And if your client during the session says, we think you should go through this direction, you should be flexible enough to do that. And one thing is key during a team coaching session: objectivity, right? You have to be objective throughout. You have to be able to listen to your client and not be rigid. And the last point here says partners with the client to end the coaching relationship in a way that honors the experience, right? I think the key line here is in a way that honors the experience. After the coaching session, can your client, right, in this case now the team, can they say that they have really gained something from the session, right? It is important you end this, as it is important for you to begin the session well, it's also important for you to end it well. So it's really pertinent that the coaching relationship should be ended in a way that honors the experience. I think at this point, I would ask my team members if they have any other thing to add before we start taking questions.
You are doing well. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. And thank you, everyone. So we're open to any questions or comments or additions anyone might want to include. Thank you from us.
Thank you, Team 3. We appreciate your sharing with us. So it's time for questions and answers now. So let's engage Team 3. Any questions? You can also use the chat box. Yeah, great work. Thank you, Mary. Mary, are you in Team 3?
No.
Okay. Thank you for encouraging them.
Tosin, you can also ask us
Thank
questions.
you, Mary.
Okay, so I don't have a per se, but I wanted to say that is anyone here, is there anyone here that wants to share the experience of the way this competency has played out in their coaching interaction?
Very, very apt.
Yes, Coach Larao. Okay, you are on this call. Please share with us. Please share with us a live experience of how this competency has played out and the importance of it. You know, coaches have levels. So let the coach, like Ahmed has said. Ahmed, have you finished your training? Are you a trained coach?
No, that's why we issue a disclaimer at the beginning.
Beginning.
Yes.
Who wants to share with me? Ayodeji.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, Stella, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So in one-on-one coaching, you can maintain this sort of confidentiality, and you can sign on an agreement because it's one-on-one. So what happens in the organization, just as you clarified, and there's going to be team coaching. How do you get them to sign that agreement? So is it a collective agreement, or do you have to do a one-on-one with each of the participants or each of the coaches in that instance? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Stella, for that question. Team 3, are you up for it?
I can just say something before I hand over to a more senior and experienced coach. I'd like to believe that there would be an agreement because Ahmed said something about agreements, when there's a confidentiality clause in place, then I think we are more open to be able to share or divulge much information, because the coach would also, even though being with us as a team, there may be instances where we may have to share for the coach to understand certain things better. So I believe that even if there's going to be a collective agreement, it will be in the interest of everybody. So I don't know if a more senior coach here can expatiate on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ukem is raising her hands, but before she speaks, let me.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay,
Go ahead,
can I say
Ukem.
something? Okay.
Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, and well done, Team 3. I should have been part of Team 3, but I took a permission to be absent. But I have to also be here to support my supposedly team. So in addressing the question that Stella asked, so what happened for me? So currently I do a group coaching program. Okay, I haven't trained in terms of organization. I haven't trained like a team in an organization, but I have trained, or currently training like a group of people, about 5 or 6 of them, in more like an academy. But what I did in terms of confidentiality is being able to establish a confidentiality agreement with each of them. That is what I did. I didn't do a collective agreement. It's an individual agreement, confidentiality agreement embedded in the coaching contract. So this is what applies to me. Some other person could also share like I said, I haven't done like a team coaching in an organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nkem. Thank you. Okay, so
Tosin, I wanted to say something.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, so in my own view, I believe that the contract, the agreement is supposed to be between the sponsor and the coach. So because even if the entire team have individually they have signed a non-disclosure agreement. I mean, you sign non-disclosure agreement with them. I don't think that the agreement itself is to be, as much as you align with them and ensure that you are on the same page on so many things, the contract itself, which is the agreement now, I believe that it has to be signed with the sponsor. So that's my view. I stand corrected.
Okay, let me just share my own little experience when it comes to coaching a team. I think both in Kem and Kem's perspective and Ahmed's perspective are right. So I believe there should be two levels of agreement. The first level of agreement would be with the sponsor, like you call it, the person that is putting this together, that wants their team coached. So there are clear terms about what the coaching experience should address. So that's one level of agreement at that point. But there's also the second level of agreement where every member in the team, acknowledges or agrees, to commit to the coaching journey and to commit to the goals that the group wants to achieve. So I don't know if Lara is here or any other senior person that is a coach, but in my own experience, I have worked with organizations and done some level of executive coaching. And that is what actually happened, where there was some form of agreement with the sponsor and also agreement with the individuals within the team, that was being coached. It was actually a management team. And the idea was so that everyone would take ownership of the things that they want to take ownership of their journey, and the goal that the team wants to achieve. So that is my experience. I don't know if any other person has experience. So it's agreement at two levels. Okay.
Thank you so much, Tosin.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Alainka Koni, and I'm not a senior coach, but I have had to work with teenagers using ICF standard. And like the previous person just said, it's the same thing for me. It's a double agreement. So in this case, the parent is the sponsor. So there's something the parents want to get from the teenagers. Now the client is the teenager. So I'm agreeing with the parents on what is obtainable, and I'm agreeing with the teenager. So for the parents, part of our agreement is that I'm not going to disclose everything your teenager tells me to breed our confidentiality. However, if there's anything the teenager is disclosing that could be detrimental, I'm going to blow it out. So for the teenager, I am telling the teenager that, okay, I'm not your parent's spy, but if along this coaching line, we get to find out something you're doing that is not right, I might have to say it out. So that way, and another thing I tell for the parents, for instance, I tell them that, okay, after each session, I'm going to give you a feedback of what our session was like. Now, when I'm dealing with the teenager, part of our agreement is that I'm going to be giving your parents a recap of what we've done. How would you like me to address it? So I am getting a kind of agreement formally signed by the parents that they are talking to them. For the teenagers, it's not a written, it's not a signed agreement, but we come to a coaching alliance to come to say that, okay, this is what we are doing. I'm not spying on you. Everything you tell me is safe, except when we get to some things. So that's my own experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olainka. I think that was just very pointed. So I think in every of whatever the scenario and whatever the kind of clientele, I think the standard is really the standard, you know, and that's what ICF is helping us to come to, that there must be we must establish, you know, we must establish and maintain agreements. So like we said, so if it's a case of a group coaching where there's a sponsor and there are individual clients within the team, it's clear that there has to be that dual level of agreement. Okay, so that's one very strong takeout for me. Any other comments, questions? Stella, I hope that has addressed your question. Hello, Stella. It was Stella that asked the question here.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
I deliberately asked the question.
Okay.
So it was deliberately asked. I was going to, you know, like say the answer at the end of the at the end of the discussion, but it's pretty much what they both said. I just deliberately brought up the question, so at least there is we all enlighten ourselves further on group coaching, because group coaching it's not the same when it comes to an organization. So thanks for everyone that contributed.
Thank you.
Stella, do you have anything you want to add to that, Stella? Is there anything you want to add?
No, not at all. It's pretty much said it all. That agreement needs to be signed. Don't just assume, oh, okay, this is an organization, this is team. That agreement needs to be signed. That's why I asked that question, because when we're having things like group coaching, people don't sign that agreement. They just agree, okay, we are going to have group coaching. We are speaking to, with the leading questions, you are addressing each and every of their concerns and helping them seek clarity. But in the organization, it's very, very important that aside from the dual agreements need to be in place, the one between the sponsor and then again between the team, each individual participant or each individual coachee, the more final agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Stella, for that. Thank you. So any other, we're getting to the last lap now. Oh, interesting, already 4 minutes to 8. So any other thoughts, any other contributions? Coach Lara, you I think I heard your voice very briefly and then you have muted again.
Yes, yeah. I'm here. I'm also learning and I'm listening in.
Okay, so you have anything to say to add to this discussion?
Yeah, well, good evening, everyone. Once again, it's been a great learning session for me. I think what this has also helped me to do is to bring it to the fore. I was listening to Olainka's example and a couple of the sessions, though I was in and out. I mean, it just helps to bring to life our understanding of coaching practices. Because the truth is, even though we have all the best practices stated, there are going to be differing realities for us to apply. So application is also very important. And the learning today has helped us to bring that to the fore. How do we apply across a varying scenario? Especially given now that a lot of organizations are beginning to embrace coaching. there's more awareness around coaching. And of course, there's also more coaches in quotes out there. But I believe what will stand us out is our clear understanding of the ethical coaching standards and practices, and which is why we're all here this evening to learn. I mean, fantastic learning session, Team 3. Well done, everyone who has contributed. And thank you everyone who joined to share knowledge as well, to ask questions. And it's been another great learning session for me. I must really admit. Thank you, everyone. Well done. Tosin, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, thanks for that contribution, Lara. And thank you, Team 3. Like Lara has said, and like I had earlier said too, this was good. And I believe that this whole coaching journey, it's a learning experience that we all would have to just keep adding on to our knowledge here and there almost every day, whether in practice or even in our relationships and the office interactions that we have. The interesting thing about the competencies and the whole coaching thing is such that we can actually deploy the learning in different scenarios, in different scenarios within the different networks of people that we interact with. I particularly liked Kemi's example of the teenagers, and that's one. So it kind of, for me, reinforced the fact that we can use the coaching tool, even within the family context, so it can be a parent to the children, where you group coach all the children at once, and there's an agreement. We could just role play these things and act it out, especially for those of us that are not yet licensed, trained and licensed coaches. We can take on some of those learnings and begin to see how we can begin to use them within our sphere of influence, within our relationships, and just get better, as we take on the learning. So thank you so much, Team 3. We appreciate the time, the sharing. I'll be dropping the slides on the group for everyone. And so I don't know if it's already 8 o'clock. I want to say thank you. I don't know if there's any final comments from anyone.
Any final comments from anyone?
Yes, Coach Lara. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Attractor.
Yes.
I hope I didn't bother your name. I'm grateful, and Benedicta, and the team generally. It's been a very wonderful time with every one of them. Thank you.
I think that's, I was also reflecting back as well. And I think that's some of the reality that we might face in terms of team coaching. I mean, people are at different pace, people learn differently, people's commitments are also different. And that's the reality we will face when we are organizing team coaching. So everyone will not be committed at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So the onus lies on us to have the right methodology to individualize. I mean, I think it was in session 1 that we talked about individualization when it comes to team coaching, and be able to relate with people at different speed. Whenever we are in group coaching session. So that's the reality, and I'm happy that despite that, I mean, the team was able to come together and deliver excellently this evening. Well done, everyone in Team 3. Very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes. So can we unmute and just clap for Team 3 for excellent Wow.
Ex
And they had to put together in 1 week.
Less than
even
1
though
week.
They had 6 weeks earlier.
Wow. They work better under pressure.
Yes. We love you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Well done, everyone. Amazing.
Thank
you.
So much.
Beautiful job.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
job. Well done.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
On that note, I don't know if there's any comment from anyone. Otherwise, have a good evening.
Thank you, Lara.
Productive week, everyone. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.